Playoff baseball is on the horizon. We got 12 games left in the regular season. Lots of moves to be made in the standings. Week 2 of NFL action to cover. We got a little hiatus coming up, but we're going to give you the best episode we can. So go ahead and run that music.
Ballpark Beef fans, welcome back to another episode. As Jimmy was saying in the previous episode, we're going to have a quick hiatus, so quick public service announcement. We'll be gone for about 2 to 3 weeks. I will be in a different country, so we'll be back, but we won't be back anytime soon. But let's get to the podcast. Quick PSA, PSA's over. Boys, how was your week? I know Nick had a great end to his week. Jimmy, how was your week?
Not as good as Nick's.
Yeah, man, we got some good news this weekend, but we'll get into that. You know, just a regular week. Got to hang out with Jonathan football Sunday and his wife, and played golf with my dad again.
Awesome,
Can't
love
beat
it.
that.
Love it,
Can't
man.
beat that.
Can't,
we got
can't beat
to.
golf with the fam.
Yeah, no, agree with that. We got to set up a little Sunday football viewing party here pretty soon. Got to get something in the works at the Jonathan apartment household.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, listen, every Sunday, Jimmy. I know not the next few Sundays, but 12:30, it's an open invite. Like, just show
I
up.
know it. I know.
Like, you just have to show up.
You know, if I was stone's throw away, I would just show up. But you know, I got to kind of work around a little bit of a different state here. So
For sure. Now we'll look into that, and we'll definitely make that happen very shortly. But do you guys want to start with football or baseball?
I mean, let's just keep the flow going and keep it with baseball.
All right, let's start it with
There's
baseball.
a lot of stuff about baseball. You know, a lot of teams are close.
I don't think a team recap is really needed right now, unless you guys want to do one. I think we could just talk more general events and kind of the playoff landscape, right? That makes the most sense. So let's pull up the standings here. So as we go into the final 2 weeks of the regular season, current NL wildcard standings for the Mets implications, they do have the final spot right now. They're a game above the Atlanta Braves. And for the Cardinals, they're not even involved. They're 7 games behind. So unless some crazy shit happens, the Cardinals will not be making the playoffs. The Yankees are currently in first place in the AL East. They lead by 3 games, and they are currently the number 1 seed in the American League. So those are kind of the playoff implications right now for our current teams. And let's kind of get into it. Let's talk a little bit about, you know, what we're looking at in terms of our teams, what we're looking at in terms of other teams. Let's get excited about some playoff baseball.
let me talk a little bit about the Mets because the Cardinals are irrelevant. The Yankees pretty much have their division locked up. I think 3 games with 12 to go. Probably pretty good news for them. Light rest of the schedule, so I think the bulk of our conversation could be on the Mets. We are in crunch time, boys. The Mets are a game up on the Braves. The Nationals are in town. Their Nationals are in Flushing. We saw Luis Angel Acuna make his debut because, unfortunately, Francisco Lindor went down with some back issues. Old man carrying the team the whole season. Not old man. He's like 30, right? 31. Carrying the team the whole season, though, with his MVP-type performance. And, you know, caught up with him a little bit. Seemed to, like, tweak it on a slide or you know, running the bases awkwardly, landing on a base. It was kind of weird. But so he's on the shelf a little bit. Luis Angel Acuna, double in the gap right now live. Going to score Harrison Bader from first, so love to see that. What else can we say here? So like, the Mets have the Nationals in town, and they really need to beat them. I think we need to sweep in this series because then we play the Phillies at home, then we go to Atlanta, and then end the season in Milwaukee. 3 playoff teams. So it's a tough rest of season schedule, but one more comment. I know I'm on a little bit of a long-winded rant here, but Sean Manaea is really pitching like an ace. He's going to have 32 starts and is absolutely the best pitcher on this team. We might get Kodai Senga for one of the games in Atlanta or Milwaukee, so that'd be great. Hopefully Francisco Lindor comes back and plays like his old self. But for now, it's Pete Alonso, it's Brandon Nimmo, it's Luis Angel Acuna. It's, you know, they have to hold this team up. So hopefully they can, and hopefully we can sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw the Joel Sherman tweet recently. He tweeted out about 2 hours ago that pregame Monday, they had a big team meeting. 3 people spoke. 3 people spoke at this team meeting. This is kind of like a motivational team meeting, kind of because the Mets kind of need to win these games. Yes, they have a wild card spot right now, but these games are their playoffs at the moment. They're only 1 game above the Braves, which isn't a crazy amount at all. So 3 people spoke. Nick, give me the first person who spoke. Take a guess.
Coach,
Anybody. Okay, Mendy. Mendy spoke. Who's the next person?
the general manager,
David Stearns. And the third person, who was the third person?
Francisco Lindor.
It was not. It was a Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso.
That's pretty close. 2 for 3.
I think Pete Alonso gave this speech because he knows this could be his last homestand in Citi Field. I think Pete Alonso wants to win. I know he's been dying to win. He's the biggest gamer in the world. You can see that at any home run derby. He supposedly gave a very passionate speech. He wasn't selected. He did it on his own accord. And I think Pete realizes that this potentially could be his last Mets homestand and last run with the Mets, which is crazy, but we shall see.
I think the good thing about the Mets and everything that's going on right now is these 12 games are important, and it's going to feed off to them if they do well into the playoffs. And they're kind of playing all playoff teams for the rest of the regular season. And I'm looking at schedules for all the other wildcard teams, and they might not have to go on a crazy run because I'm looking and the Diamondbacks are playing the Padres, Milwaukee, and San Francisco. 2 out of 3 teams still fighting for the playoffs. And then you look at the Padres, they play Arizona, LA, and the White Sox. 2 out of 3 series against playoff teams. And then the Braves, it's Miami, Kansas City, and New York. And Kansas City is still fighting for the wild card. So the Mets aren't the only team that has like a really tough schedule. So these next 12 games are a test for every wild card team to see, all right, which team actually deserves to be it and which team doesn't.
Nick, that was a fantastic take. Can I just take a moment to recognize your growth as a podcaster? Fantastic analysis of the landscape of the games to be played, and just great take.
Yeah, can we take a moment here? I agree with you, Jimmy. I think Nick's takes have progressively gotten better over the course of season 3. Like season 1 and 2, you're like, all right, Nick is very monotone, same shit.
Bro, we started from hello baseball.
Yeah, like now Nick is giving like informative takes with knowledge. I think Nick's next step is get a professional mic, and then I think Nick will be up there with the best of them. Honestly,
He'll be swinging at his weight class. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I want to. Go ahead.
No, I'm just proud of him. That's all.
Me too.
Hey man, just try and make everyone proud in my life.
It's fantastic goal. I'm gonna go back to the Pete Alonso take. My stance on him leaving has softened a little bit. I don't think that he's gonna be leaving. I think he's gonna re-sign with the Mets. I don't think he has it in him. He didn't put on enough of a season to warrant a ridiculous type of deal. He's shown signs of regression. He's shown signs of like not being able to get to like the 275 range with 50 bombs, that he potentially could break out and do, one season. But he's starting to soften on me. I think he's going to be a Met. I don't know. Something in me. I don't think he gets the contract that he wants in free agency, and I think the Mets offer him the hometown deal, and he takes the hometown discount.
Yeah, I mean, Pete Alonso is not a terrible player. I mean, I think he's a 250 hitter with 30, 40 plus bombs. But I just don't think I would be giving him the contract he's looking for. And honestly, it would be nice for him to stay there the rest of his career, take a little pay count, and just stay with the team that he loves.
I agree. I think he could, be one of the most prolific home run hitters in the history of the Mets, by the time his career is almost all said and done. But, that being said, I don't think the contract that he was looking for before the season started, just generally speaking in free agency, is the same contract that he's looking for now. I think that it's a completely different number, and I'd be comfortable going to the number that is probably fair for him at this moment than compared to what it was before the season started.
No, and I agree. I think his value has decreased. I don't think he's going to get the contract he wants. I think he's going to be viewed more as especially, as he's getting older. I know he's still only 30, 31. I think, as first basemen get older, they kind of, transition into the DH role. Sorry. So I think that obviously decreases his value, especially with like there's going to be some kind of logjam in the Mets infield, especially with Luis Angel Acuna coming up, Ronnie Mauricio. So they're kind of going to have to figure out if they do re-sign Pete, where does he end up? Because, you know, you have Vientos as well. You have Lindor. So it's going to be interesting if he's even an everyday first baseman in the next 2 to 3 years, you know? So obviously that's going to decrease his value as well. Honestly, I could see him getting anywhere from maybe 14 to 18 mil AAV a year. I don't think he's worth much more than that. Yes, he's a home run hitter, but he has regressed this year. So yeah, that's my Pete take. I think the Mets do possibly resign him, but who knows? Maybe someone offers him 20 million AAV and he's like, fuck it, you know?
I think he gets that. I think he still gets 20 AAV.
Yeah, but the question is how many years?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question. I think he gets a $100 million contract. Definitely. So I think, you know, I'd be fine going five for
5
100.
years, 100 million. See where he is at 35.
I'd do 115 or something like that too.
Yeah, I mean, I just like I said, there's going to be a logjam. He's probably not going to be your everyday first baseman for much longer. I don't think so. I think
he's playing good defense this year. I don't know, man.
I mean,
I think
no,
that's
I'm
a lazy take.
I'm saying in regards, my take was good with the logjam in the infield. What do you?
It is, but I don't know. I think Vientos could be the DH more so than Alonso. Alonso plays first base fairly decently.
No,
you need Vientos in the lineup.
Yeah, no, I agree. But who? Yeah, okay. I don't think it's a lazy take. I just think it's more of a you got to think take. Because if you think about it, Lindor's at shortstop, right? Second base is going to be Acuna, right? Third base is either Vientos or Mauricio, I would assume. I think Mauricio can play third base, right?
He's gonna try.
Yeah, yeah. First base is then either Vientos or Pete, and it all comes down to who's the better defensive first baseman. Obviously, Pete has the edge right now because he's been playing it his whole life, but Vientos may, you know, you got to keep Vientos bat in the lineup. And I know the DH, whatever, but I think guys play better when they're in the field. I don't know. That's just me. It was always, that's how I always felt.
Tell that to Shohei.
Yeah.
Shohei, your MVP still? 48 right now?
He's going to get 50-50.
He's going to go 50-50, and I think that's going to shut out Lindor.
If he goes 50-50, it's an easy decision.
Yeah. It's honestly unfortunate because Lindor is having an outstanding year.
Yeah.
No, he is. And I just don't think it's enough to beat Shohei. Nothing against the Mets. I do hate the Mets on record, but there's nothing against Lindor. I just think Shohei, if he gets 50-50, there's no shot. He's not winning MVP.
Yeah. No, that's fair. You know what isn't a lazy take, though?
What?
Since June 1st, the Mets are the best team in baseball. Not a lazy take.
You know what? And I'll give the Mets flowers. They deserve to make the playoffs. I hated on them all year. I said they were going to crumble. But I think they will make the playoffs. What will they do in the playoffs? I really don't have a take on that right now.
Everything's bonus if they make the playoffs because this year was the transitionary year. This is the year where we sign, you know, role players like Tyrone Taylor and freaking, you know, what else? Who else do we sign? Harrison Bader, like those kinds of guys. Like we let Quintana stay on contract and like assumed he would be our ace. We went in with Sean Manaea as our guy. Like this was supposed to be transitionary year. Now all of a sudden we have Luis Severino and Sean Manaea, who I would welcome back with open arms into the rotation next year. Kodai Senga to pair with him, hopefully healthy next year. And then you could add an ace or a 1A, 1B kind of pairing, and then all of a sudden you have a serious team. But this year we're going to make the playoffs without, you know, having our top shots fired off. So it's kind of exciting, but I don't know. I think the Mets will make the playoffs.
So, you know, when we get back, the playoffs are going to be, you know, pretty deep into the playoffs. Unfortunately, I apologize. So I do have a honeymoon to attend. Sorry, guys. Sorry to all our listeners. But we will come back and we will give you the best playoff coverage we can. And, of course, continue into the football season. Speaking of football, there was a lot that went on this past week. A lot. Like, there is a lot of football to talk about. And we have plenty of time to talk about it. So I'm going to start off kind of with my end. I have a lot to talk about. And that's with the Tua Tagovailoa injury. as you guys, most of the country watched Thursday night game, Buffalo against Miami. Tua ran for a first down, and as he's scrambling, he falls down, bangs his head on, funny enough, Damar Hamlin's knee, and ends up concussed. And you see the weird finger thing, and just not stuff you want to see. So, little updates here and there. Tua is not retiring. He is just went on the IR. Unfortunately, as much as I want the Dolphins to be good, I want the Dolphins to win because they have been god awful for many, many years of my life. I wanted Tua to retire, and I'm not against Tua. I love Tua. But as a person, I want him to be healthy. I don't know how many more hits he can take like this where it causes, I don't even know how to put it. Like, just causes damage to his brain where he just can't be himself anymore. Because
lifelong damage.
Yeah, because the concussion, bro, these aren't normal concussions. These are concussions that are causing his body to freeze up. Like this isn't like, this isn't good to see. I don't want to see this anymore. As much as I want to see 70-yard bombs to Tyreek Hill and 40-yard slants to Waddle for touchdowns, I don't want to see the man hurt. But yeah, I mean, he's coming back. He's on IR. He's going to keep playing. And, I hope he stays healthy. At this point, I don't have much hope for the Dolphins. Skylar Thompson will be the starting quarterback from now on. But yeah, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on that? What do you guys think he should do? I understand he's a gamer. He wants to play. And, this is what he's known his whole life. But as just a guy on the outside, what do you guys think?
Yeah, man. I mean, to have 4 serious concussions in the last 5 years, especially to the point where it's like it stops the game and everybody's like holding their breath just for you to be okay. You got to find a spot in your life where it's just like, this isn't for me. I've been in the league, 5 years, whatever. I got to play the dream that I wanted to do. And unfortunately, my body's like just not capable of holding up to it. You have to just put your family first, your wife, your kids, everyone else around you, and be like, hey, I know this is my life, but I can't put other people through that just because I want to play football. I agree with you 100% where he needs to retire and just, I don't know how many more lives is he going to ask for, He could say, oh, I'm going to go back out there and play, and then the next game he hits his head again, and then next thing you know, now he has, permanent damage for the rest of his life. And he's only 26 years old, so it's not like it's not like he hasn't done everything he wanted, but he still has a whole life to live after.
Yeah, I mean, in the same breath, though, like, as much as I agree with you guys as far as it's, maybe for his best interest health-wise to hang it up and retire, it's really not for us to decide. It's not for us to tell him what to do or to comment on what he should do, because really it's him that needs to make that decision. There's ownership of your career, there's ownership of your life. Like, it's his decision to make and his alone. But that being said, like, you just hate to see those types of things happen. You hate to see that fencing posture, in reaction to a serious concussion. You hate to see it happen so often to such a young kid who's got so much talent and promise in his career, but also, so much to live for at home. So, it's a tough situation, and, hopefully he's considering all these things in his decision and he does what's best for him.
Yeah, I definitely see both sides. I mean, we can't make a decision on his life. It's his life at the end of the day. It's what he chooses. All of us are just kind of analyzing it from the outside looking in. But, he's going to make the best decision for himself. I just don't want to see that anymore. That's all.
No, definitely not.
So yeah, you don't want to see that as a fan and as a player, making the tackle. You don't want that to happen. Like, you don't want to be the guy making that tackle.
No, and it's especially his family, like, that just sucks to see. But again, like Jimmy said, it's his choice, it's his career. We can't do much about it. But let's get into more happier things. Actually, I don't know. There was a lot of injuries this week.
You might as well just keep going with the injury, because I'm pretty sure there was like 6 more people that got hurt that are out for multiple weeks.
So let's start off with Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in the game. Justin Jefferson went out in the game after a 97-yard tut. That was huge, man. That's huge. Sam Darnold has been looking great. They would have been. I think they're starting to develop into a great 1-2. And yeah, I mean Jefferson goes down. There's a lot of injuries this week we're going to talk about, but it's crazy, man. That's wide receiver 1 down.
He should be okay though.
I think it's just a minor one. I think he's one of the players that isn't like as serious, but I mean it's an injury. You always got to watch it with precaution.
Yeah. Next injury, Cooper Kupp. I just spent 500 FAAB on him. Now on the IR, so regretting that.
It's worth it at the time.
It was worth it at the time. He had definitely huge value, but now it's yeah. Cooper Kupp down, 4-week IR. Next guy, Jimmy guy, super high on. He basically influenced me to draft him in another league, Mr. Isaiah Pacheco, out 6 to 8 weeks. It's just like a lot's going on this week, man.
Dude, and everything was pointing in the right direction for Pacheco, and you can't tell me that I was wrong on my take because did you see his usage through the first 2 weeks?
No, dude,
It's incredible.
I know.
Just incredible. Like, get him in the end zone, and he's scoring 25 a week. Like, it's just incredible, his volume, and that backfield's so interesting. Who the hell is going to get the work? Because everyone loves the Chiefs. Everyone gets a little tight in their pants for the Chiefs anytime they come around their radar. So we'll have to see if the undrafted rookie fullback at the halfback position going to make some noise. Carson Steele. It's going to be pass catcher Samaje Perine. Is it going to be, the recently signed Hunt to the practice squad? Like, who knows?
Yeah. And there was another injury.
AJ Brown?
I don't think he's out for a while. I'm trying to think more of like
Debo.
Debo's
Sure
hurt.
AJ Brown's out for a good amount.
I mean, it's crazy. A lot of guys went down this week. I mean, Kenneth Walker was hurt.
It says AJ Brown's expected to miss a couple of weeks, probably 2 to 4.
Yep. AJ Brown down. Puka's still down. Kupp's
Can't
down.
forget the infamous Giants kicker going on the IR.
Man, we're gonna get into that.
Are we? Do we have to?
We have to get into that.
Is Kenneth Walker out for a while?
No. He's week to week.
T. Higgins is still out with a hamstring. I mean, everybody's just getting injured. Did you guys see that one fantasy picture that is going around where the dude's entire team is all the players we just named and they're all injured?
Oh, Njoku, yeah. That's such a good team after the draft, and then all of a sudden so bad.
AJ Brown, Cooper Kupp, Pacheco, Kenneth Walker, Tua, Gano. I'm like, yo, this is a winning team. 2 weeks in, out.
Yeah, so before we kind of go around the horn, around the league, let's talk some fantasy. We'll talk some fantasy, we'll talk some redraft, we'll talk some dynasty. I know we skipped quickly over dynasty last week. I want to get more into it this week because I think Jimmy wanted to talk a little bit more. I apologize for that, Jimmy, last week. But redraft, let's talk about redraft. So I won, and I was the only one who won this week.
Jonathan beat the brakes off of me.
I blew Nick out by 60.
His wide receivers putting up 60 points combined.
My rookie wide receivers popped off as I projected it would come. Week 1 was slow, feeling out. Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors. I have a stacked team, guys. Let me just go from the top. CJ Stroud, dog. Breece Hall, dog. J.K. Dobbins, my sleeper of the year, dog. Marvin Harrison, dog. Nico Collins, dog as usual. And Malik Neighbors. If you tell me that is a bad team, you suck at fantasy, okay?
You were sweating. Your balls were sweaty after that draft. You were nervous.
Dude said J.K. Dobbins, and he's been on the bench the first 2 weeks.
Well, guess who's starting this week? And guess what? I had B-Rob. B-Rob put up 14 and 17. My team is stacked, guys, okay? I'm going back to back to back.
Man,
you were so scared.
You went 1 week and just started yapping.
You were so scared draft night. You're like, well, I hope all my rookie wide receivers pan out. I'm so scared for this season. Head ass.
Can't forget, you also got Baker Mayfield and Brian Thomas Jr.
Listen, guys, my team is deep. I have a great team. I have a team to make a run. I have a team to withstand any injury. I'm good. I'm chilling. How are you guys feeling about your redraft team?
Well, I'm pretty much lost 2 quarterbacks because Jordan Love is hurt and Matthew Stafford has absolutely no one to throw the ball to. Gibbs and Ramondre, I was pretty happy with taking them in the first 6 rounds. They're producing 17 both in the past week. Garrett Wilson, he still hasn't really shown much fantasy-wise that he's a top 5, top 10 receiver yet. So I'm a little down on him. DJ Moore, average. DK Metcalf had a big game. But I also lost my tight end. So I'm not really too happy with my team. But for it being the last pick, I'm pretty satisfied. Starting out 0-2, we'll just see what happens if we can try and make some moves and maybe get some wins.
Hey, I got some moves to make with you if you want to go shopping for the best quarterback rest of the season.
I really don't like. I always find trouble in trying to value redraft trades.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Bro, it's what you need. You have to value what you need.
It's so tough because like you essentially you have to give up 2 for 1 in most trades, right? Like you usually have to tier up and give up maybe, so say like you give up a tier 2 and tier 3 guy, or 2 tier 2 guys to get like a tier S guy, like it's tough. Like I never know how to value trades, and I honestly rarely make trades in redraft unless something good sent to me, just because I don't know what to like. I don't know how to value them.
Yeah, Jimmy and I were talking a lot
trades
today because
yeah,
he has Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels, and I feel like I'm in a situation where like I need a consistent quarterback, and I think Daniels would be that guy. But I mean, I was telling Jimmy, he was offering me, Gibbs, DK, like Ramondre, like yeah, those are some of those people I would like consider. But then looking at the rest of my team, it's like, well, if I get rid of them, I'm still losing in a spot. So it's like, no, I want to make the trade, but I just can't.
Yeah,
John, you're laughing, but it's not 1 for 1. We're working around those guys, okay? We need running back help, and there's only so many running backs in this league.
Yeah,
Yeah, like Jimmy mainly needs running back help, and if you look at my team outside my 2 starters, I have no running back. So it's like, how do I give up my running back?
No, for sure. I mean, it's tough in redraft because running backs go early and people stack up on running backs. That was the one position I was worried about, but I'm no longer worried about that position.
Let me get your takes on a couple of trades that I was offered. So I'm shopping 2 players. I'm shopping
mainly
2
just
players.
redraft, right?
Mainly only redraft, yeah. So I'm shopping 2 players. I'm shopping Brandon Ayuk, and I'm shopping around Jaden Daniels. First, so I put Ayuk on the trade block. I get offered Jerome Ford for Ayuk straight up.
That's not bad.
Horrible. Talking about that's not bad.
Ayuk sucks right now.
Bro, Ayuk has a clear path to get his 12 targets a game and his wide receiver 1 upside coming in the next couple of weeks. It's coming. I
mean, he was also projected to have what you just said this week, and he had 5 targets.
Because Debo was still in the lineup. Debo's out. Ayuk's going to get the volume uptick. Then I got offered Jordan Mason and Zamir White. Zamir White is hot garbage. Jordan Mason, I don't know. I don't trust him. Do you trust him rest of season? Like, I think that he's been playing good to replace CMC, but is he a rest of season guy that's going to like blow fantasy up?
I think so, dude. Like,
and I got to pay Ayuk for that?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think Jordan Mason, it's sustainable with him, just the way they run that offense. Also, I think McCaffrey's injury is actually pretty bad. He has Achilles tendonitis. Anything wrong, he could rupture his Achilles. They're going to take their time with him. Jordan Mason has a lot of burn. And I mean, he's shown up the past 2 games. I don't see why he can't be a consistent 15 points a week.
I know, but it's like I feel like Ayuk is gonna go on a bender right now, and I could be wrong, but a 25 wide receiver 1 who got paid that much money and is just working up from being a holdout for this preseason, like he's gonna boom come week 3 or 4.
Okay, so let's put it this way though. Ayuk has had 2 terrible games to start the year. You put him up for a trade block. Like, what kind of trades were you expecting back? Because people, they make trades based off how their player is doing right now. They're not like, oh, in a few weeks he's going to be a dog. You know what I'm saying?
I know it's bullshit though. That's the problem. So for me, I don't know, Cook straight up, James Cook straight up for Ayuk.
Yeah, I mean I can see that.
Like, or if you do like Cook for Ayuk, maybe you throw in, I don't know, one of the other running backs, like who does he have? He has Zamir White or Khalil Herbert, and then I'll throw in like Zach Charbonnet or something, like just to even it out a little bit. I don't know, like you can work around some stuff, but for me, Ayuk and Cook are on the same level.
See,
That has the fair
and
trade.
They are, but people are gonna look at Cook and say, "Oh, well, he's just coming off almost a 30-point game. Ayuk only had 8. Like that's not a fair trade."
Can I say one thing? This is why Hero RB sucks. This is an instance where Hero RB sucks.
Okay, so Wag, what if I went CMC and Pacheco?
You're fucked.
That's what. So what's the difference?
No, but I'm saying like we took RB1. You took yours in second round, right? Second round you did Pacheco. I took mine in the first. We didn't take another RB until I think the 7th or 8th round.
And I got mine in the 6th.
Because I'm stacked at every other position.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean,
I'm 1-1, and I had the most points in a loss. So I consider my start good. My RB1 went down. That's unlucky.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that position is just what it is. What it is. You can't predict the running back injuries because that position is just so susceptible to injuries. I picked a young running back with a high volume expectation. I picked well.
Yeah.
So did you. You picked a young RB with high upside and high expectations. You pick well, but it doesn't matter because this freaking game is all about injuries and luck, and it's bullshit. And I can't stand that I'm roped into fantasy because of you.
To be honest,
All your
with you
fault.
you only lost this week because Kamara scored 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, that's not my dynasty team, so.
But I mean, you still put up 132.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's not the end of the world, and I can fill the gaps because again, I have one of the best quarterbacks. I have one of the best tight ends. I have one of the best kickers. Not that that matters too much, but I have a great kicker, and I have 3 wide receivers. 1A that could be 1A, 1B on every other team.
Yeah. That's. I mean, yeah. I mean, I just love my team.
Well, yeah, of course you do. You scored 171 points. You're in first place. But like, I'm relying on 6 of 7 positions to carry me the rest of the season because running back 1 and 2 are now pretty much write-offs unless I can get James Cook for Ayuk because I think that's fair, but that's an absurd overpay by them for Ayuk. Ayuk, he's crazy good.
Yeah.
Give him a chance.
No, I know. All right, let's transition to Dynasty. So
Yeah, I'm tight.
I sent a fire picture to the boys this morning. I sent them a picture of our standings. So if you guys recall, me and Nick are kind of in a retool, rebuild kind of thing. I think Nick's a little more farther along than I am. Tua getting hurt obviously doesn't help this cause. But I sent them a picture. And in this picture was the standings of our current league. You guys want to know the top 3 teams in that league?
Bing.
Jimmy in first place, Nick in second, and me in third. That is the top 3 standings in our Dynasty League. That was probably one of the best things I've seen all week, besides, we'll talk about Nick's story later. But I just felt that was awesome. For me, now I'm like, what do I do? Like, do I wait out a week and then try to make a trade for quarterback? Like, I'm in this weird position right now where I feel like I have to go for it at this point. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It never hurts to like soft buy.
Yeah.
You don't have to mortgage the future for the now, but I mean, hey, if you find yourself after week 3-0, it might make sense to add a little bit to give it a run. I mean, if you really believe, injuries happen, dynasty sucks because these any fantasy league sucks because injuries happen, but hey, like if you see some green, I'm buying, baby.
So here's my thing with Jonathan's team. You guys say that the draft this year is pretty RB heavy.
Yeah.
Right? And I think Jonathan is probably the best team right now with his RB1 and RB2, like for his future that he's planning on. And you have 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. I mean, if you're thinking of going for it, I think you kind of got to use at least one of them to, either upgrade your flex or get a QB that has been, a consistent 15, 20 points.
See, but this is my thing about being on the brink, right? Like, I have 2 firsts, 2 seconds. Now, it's going to come, it depends on how these firsts are. Like, I can get, let's say, a 1-8 and a 1-11 because Raf has a pretty good team. I think I have Raf's pick. Yeah, I have Raf's pick. So it's like, who am I really getting at those picks? Those aren't going to be guys who are going to help me win next year. You know what I mean? That's how I'm starting to look at it right now. Unless, I get some studs. Because if you think about it, it's going to go quarterback heavy, Quinn Ewers. The other quarterbacks, yeah. I don't like Shadur, bro. I really don't think he's that good. Honestly, I really don't think he's that good. But you know what I mean? Like the good guys who are going to help me, who would help a team win next year, are going to be gone within those first few picks. So I think if the trade is right for me to pick up another QB1 and maybe a wide receiver tier 3 or 2, I think my team has decent potential. That's how I'm looking at it. So I'm going to start looking at the market and try to make some trades here.
Yeah, man, because
You
you
think?
have all these picks, but looking at the picks you have your own, you have Justin Raff, Jimmy, and the last year's champ. Their team's either gotten better or the same. So I think their picks are all just going to be late again.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah, I have all these picks and I can get all these rookies, but it's like, is it really going to change my team, in 2-3 years?
Exactly. That's my worry.
To me, like I think you have a lot of value in the running back position. So I think maybe like transitioning off of one of those like elite backs like Achane and Gibbs and pivoting into like a really solid flex plus a starting running back, but just maybe tier down might be a play, and then using the first and second to go get a quarterback for the for the super flex spot. Like I don't know, that could be like an approach, but to me, I think you're very top heavy. I think you're Stroud, Gibbs, and Achane heavy.
Yeah.
Your wide receivers, the depth isn't great. The front end isn't fantastic. I mean, you do have Waddle, you do have Zay Flowers is good, but not great. So I don't know. I think to me, I don't know if you're 2-0 because you have a team that's worth 2-0 or you're 2-0 kind of just by running into some worse teams.
Yeah.
But that's the challenge with Dynasty is like you kind of have to decide if you're going to go for it or not because, you know, I don't know if you're close enough is what I'm trying to say.
No, and I don't think I am that close because my team can have a bad week and score 50 points, honestly. Like, I think my team's very, very, what's the word? Volatile? Is that the word? Is that a good word? Yeah.
Yep.
That's a great word. Obviously, Jimmy, you have the best team in the league.
Here's hoping. I mean, I put together the team that should win. And if it doesn't win, then I don't have anything else to say. And nobody wants to trade with me. Nobody's going to give me a running back to replace Pacheco. Like I said, nobody wants to talk to me about that.
Yeah.
And if they
Yeah,
do,
but I
it's
don't
just
think
some
you need.
bullshit value.
I don't think you need to get someone to replace him. You still have Robinson and Kenneth Walker, which I think are pretty solid 10 to 15 point players.
I know, but so I mean, Robinson I have to rely on, but Ken Walker is hurt, and from there, right? Like it's waiver wire running backs, and also when I try to make a trade with somebody, the value just isn't there, or I get swindled. So
Yeah, but you also have Kamara, so like you look at this week, Pacheco got hurt. Your two running backs still put up 60.
yeah, I'm not concerned, but like I mean, Kamara, my running back position has never been the best in this league, and that's okay. Like my wide receiver position is elite. My quarterbacks are both good. So I mean, I don't know.
Debatable. I
I
want
would
to
not.
talk about
I
that.
wouldn't say good.
I want to talk about this. I did want to
Both
talk about your
quarterbacks are good.
quarterback situation. I need to talk about Anthony Richardson. Okay. I don't think he's that good. I think he got exposed. I don't think he's that good.
50%,
I'm
17
waiting
for
for some more
34.
because you said quite a few number of words.
Purdy? I think he's not. I mean, dude, he doesn't look great this year.
I mean, let's put it this way: you scored 172 points this week, and your quarterbacks put up a total of 25.
27, but we'll leave
The
it
whole
at that.
team, is well balanced.
I honestly, I'm not high on Anthony Richardson. I mean, his first two games back, it doesn't look like he's trying to utilize anyone on the team but his feet.
Fine with me. It's good for fantasy.
I
Yeah,
mean,
throw the ball to 80 Mitchell,
are you
bro.
happy with 11.8 points from Anthony Richardson?
Well, how many points did Patrick Mahomes have?
Like 17, 18?
Okay. My point is, I don't give a shit if I have 170 points and the other team has less.
I mean, yeah, but I would be worried about Anthony Richardson.
You know what? You know what sucks? Like, sorry to cut into the conversation. Daniel Jones just is on the waivers, and Alec is position 1, and of course he's going to get Daniel Jones.
Bro, he already texted me and says, "Do you need a quarterback? Do you want Daniel Jones?"
Like it's
Oh, because he's booking him for his team.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah. Well, when
Yeah.
a quarterback becomes available, he hoards them.
he
Bro,
does.
he has 4 quarterbacks. He has
I have
Bryce
4.
Young, Watson, Murray, and Lamar. Now he's gonna have Daniel Jones.
Bryce Young does.
I mean, I will be 100% honest with you. I have Daniel Jones as one of my waiver ads.
So do I.
I do too, and I'm 4.
Okay, so I'm
I
not getting him.
probably won't get any of the guys. There's 3 quarterbacks you could pick up in this waiver, which is insane.
I have 2 of them in the waiver.
There's 3.
Okay, so I'm getting none of them because I know that everyone ahead of me is going to get
I
them.
also have something to talk about quarterback wise. I know
Who's the
this is
third? Wait. Who's the third?
Andy Dalton,
Who's the second then?
Skylar
Skylar
Thompson.
Thompson.
Oh,
Dolphins.
I'm not getting Skylar Thompson.
Anyway, my thing is
I'm not
right
getting any
now
of them.
the best 2 quarterbacks in the league are Sam Darnold and Derek Carr.
Yeah, go figure.
How do you value, like, if you were to trade for them, like, where do you draw the line for those 2? Because obviously they're off to one of the best careers in their start, and like talking to the guy, he's like, well, they've been balling, so the price isn't going to be low. Like, where do you draw that line?
I have a quick correction. The 2 top fantasy quarterbacks are actually Baker Mayfield and Derek Carr.
Well, I was talking about in the league. They both have 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, but like they're
Fantasy wise, okay, whatever. Top 3.
But
But
Carr
like
and who?
Baker Mayfield,
Okay, but who's the other one?
Sam Darnold.
Darnold, right?
Like, it's these 2 quarterbacks where the guy who has them has Sam Darnold, Derek Carr, and Justin Herbert. So it's like if you were to trade him for quarterbacks, like you're obviously not going to give them like a first or whatever or like extra. You know what I'm saying? Like, where do you draw the line where it's like, yeah, they're balling, but this is too much. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I
quarterback's worth the first, man.
No,
regardless
not
of who they
those.
are.
I mean, Sam Darnold's 20. What is he? 28, 29?
29 and Derek Carr's 33.
Darnold's
Just because
probably
they're
worth the
off,
first.
I would say Sam Darnold is, but a 33-year-old Derek Carr who's having like his best career, like, what would you like value him as?
That's an interesting team. I don't know what's going right in New Orleans, but that gumbo is spicy.
That gumbo
Just
is
tell you that.
spicy.
I don't know.
gumbo
Early
is spicy.
second. I'm
Yeah.
at early second for
So
all 3.
my thing with
Baker
him,
maybe a first.
my
Baker's
thing
a
with
first.
him is he's like, I'm like, do you want picks or do you want players? And he's like, I want players. I'm competing this year. And I looked at his team and I'm like, bro, they could barely compete.
Who has this? Who has these players?
Joe.
He's trying to compete.
Yeah, with
see.
like no backups except Drake London.
I'm trying to trade him.
So he has Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, and Justin Herbert, and it's like, yeah, the better, like, Justin Herbert is for the future for him, but he's the worst quarterback. So, and he's only 26, so he's gonna have his value high, even though his points aren't there. But then yet, if you look at it, he's gonna have Derek Carr and Sam Darnold just about the same value, just because their points are there, but the age isn't.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is like everyone's worried about depth and everyone's worried about competing and people are on the fringe and stuff like that still. It's just like it's not a good time to buy. People's prices are high. Let it settle. Let it take a couple losses early in the season. Maybe see where you're at in week 6 or 7 when people start to decide on a direction because everyone's competing. Everyone's either 1-1 or 2-0 right now who's competing. So
Yeah,
once
but there's a
more and
lot
more
of 1-1
people,
teams that kind of shouldn't be even thinking about it.
that's my point. Wait till their prices go down and they start realizing that they're terrible. And maybe I can get Nico and J.K. Dobbins for Amon-Ra St. Brown done, and I can fill 2 spots in my lineup.
Yeah.
Bing, bang, boom.
You gotta wait. We gotta wait a little bit. Everyone's prices are super high right now. Once the season starts developing, maybe week 5 or 6, then you'll have a better, values will be down. People will know where they're at. And
when's the trade deadline?
I have it set for week 13, I think. I pushed it out a little farther because I got, necked last year. So,
and just for the record, Bryce Young is not worth Malik Neighbors.
Oof.
that
Put that on the record.
That was one of the worst takes I've ever heard in my life.
Especially being benched. Wow.
Yep.
All right, we got a topic we've been alluding to this entire podcast, and I think it's about time that we bring it up.
Well, let me go around the horn, and then we'll go into our betting thing. Quick
Say
NFL
less.
around. Quick NFL around the horn with John Wags.
And Ballpark Beef.
I'm gonna create this new skit. Quick around the horn with Wags. So we'll do around the horn, and then we'll get into our betting topic. All right. So let's go. Quick. Bills Dolphins. Bills proved again they own the Dolphins. Tua got hurt, out for 4 weeks. Bills win 31-10. Saints Cowboys. What a game. Alvin Kamara absolutely went nuclear. Saints blew out the Cowboys 44-19, and the Saints look like the best team in the league. Buccaneers Lions. What a game. That was a very fun game down to the wire. Bucks pulled it out 20-16. Baker Mayfield and the Bucks, I think they're the real deal. Colts Packers. AR proved he is a bust. And the Packers and Malik Willis beat the Colts 16-10. Jets Titans. All you Aaron Rodgers Glazers out there, Aaron Rodgers won a game. And Will Levis did another dumb thing. Jets beat the Titans 24-17. Niners Vikings. Vikings look very good. Their defense looks disgusting. That's going to be a top pickup in that fantasy this week. Vikings win 23-17. Seahawks Patriots. I think if the Patriots had a little more of a dynamic quarterback, right? Maybe by the name Drake May starting, they would have won this game. They need to be able to push the ball down the field, which they can't do with Jacoby Brissett. Seahawks win 23-20. Now, wow, this game 21-18. Commanders beat the Giants. Let me first of all talk about this. How does Brian Dable go into a week where he knows his kicker's hurt and not have a backup plan? Let Gillen kick. Fuck it. Let him kick.
They did. He missed the first one.
Well, keep going.
Clearly,
their 2-point conversion plays were terrible. They didn't convert any of them. I mean, the Giants should have won this game easily. Easily.
Why are you giving up 7 scoring drives?
To Jaden Daniels, who can only run. Like, come on. Let's go. Put some pressure. Win a fucking game. Giants lose. Commanders win. Chargers, Panthers. I mean, Bryce Young sucks. He's a bust. He sucks. Chargers won 26-3. But I will say this. Quentin Johnson can catch a football. Let's put this out in the world. Quentin Johnson had 2 touchdown catches. He can catch a football. Browns, Jaguars. Browns won 18-13. I honestly didn't look too much into this game besides Brian Thomas is a deep ball threat. Raiders, Ravens. This was a lock of the week last week from our fellow podcaster here, Jimmy. The Raiders upset the Ravens 26-23. And wow, Gardner Minshew beats Lamar Jackson. This was a blowout. Cardinals, Rams 41-10. I did not see this one coming. Maserati Marv balled the fuck out. And Kyler Murray, as we all called it, looks like a top five quarterback in the league.
As I called it.
We.
My take.
Whatever. Steelers, Broncos. I mean, this game is just, if you like watching defense, this is what you want to watch because both offenses are terrible. Steelers win 13-6. Bengals, Chiefs. Congrats to the refs again. I think they won the game for the Chiefs. Chiefs win 26-25. And yeah, I mean, another penalty going the Chiefs' way. What can I say? Bears, Texans. I mean, the Texans won 19-13. Stroud looked good. Caleb Williams looked all right. Had 2 picks. But, I mean, hopefully he can build off this. And then Falcons, Eagles. The Falcons won it in the end of the game. Drake London sighting. Drake London had a tut. Darnell Mooney had a tut. Very interesting. And the Falcons win 22-21. That is all for the Wags Roundup, weekly NFL Roundup. Let's get into our betting. But let me start off by saying this. So we went to a Sunday. Nick put in a parlay, right?
Yeah, how about you let me tell my story? All right, thank you.
So I'm going to let him tell his story. He's probably not going to tell it as good as I will. It's going to be very, very dry.
Oh no, it's gonna be an interesting one. So,
but let's hear this story. Let's not
before
be
I get into that
monotone.
story, I'm gonna talk about our Ballpark Beef parlay. Like you said before, Jimmy let us down with the minus 9.5.
Let's skip this shit. Let's go on to the main event.
And Jonathan let us down with the minus 3.5. But on to the big one, right? So it's 12:15. I got $10 left in FanDuel. I said, you know what? I'm gonna put in some crazy leg parlay. Ends up being 24 legs. and I pick legs where, you pick all the star players of each team, and I do nothing more than 40, 50 yards, right? So I look at the first game. I got the Saints Cowboys. I'm like, CeeDee Lamb 50 lock. Dak Prescott over 225 passing yards lock. Kamara 40 yards. Done in the first quarter. Go to the next game. Amon-Ra 50. Jameer 40. Jared Goff 200. Done in the first quarter. Go to the game I didn't want to touch. I put ETN and Jerome Ford both for 40 plus. Done in the first quarter. Meanwhile, it's halfway through Sunday, 1 o'clock games. I look at Jonathan and I go, Jonathan, this bet might hit. He has absolutely no clue what I'm talking about, right? Carrying on, we got Justin Jefferson, 50 yards, Debo, 40, Brock Purdy, 175. Hit. Halftime comes. I go to Jonathan. I'm like, Jonathan, this is going to hit, but I need the Jets and the Ravens to kick up. First play in the Baltimore game, Derrick Henry, 40 yards. Thank you. I put Lamar Jackson over 25. We'll get into that. Put Likely over 25. We'll get into that. Charbonnet and Ramadre over 25 and 40, done in the first half. Jonathan Taylor over 40, Josh Jacobs and 25, done in the first quarter. Garrett Wilson sneaks out his last reception for like 20 yards, gets him over 40. Breece Hall, first run in the second half, over 40. Aaron Rodgers passing touchdown. Last game I did was Malik Neighbors over 40, Brian Robinson Jr. over 25, JK over 40, done in the first half. So with all the 1 o'clock games done, I look at Jonathan and I'm like, Jonathan, I need 5 rushing yards from Lamar and 14 passing yards, receiving yards from Likely. We watching Red Zone, they don't really show everything. I look at my phone, Likely 2 receptions, 26 yards. I'm like, Jonathan, we're going to turn everything off and zone into the Ravens game because I need 5 rushing yards from Lamar and there's 6.5 minutes left. Raiders have the ball, score a touchdown. I'm like, all right, 4 minutes left. What could go wrong? First play, Lamar sacked for -10. I'm like, well, okay, we lost. Turnover on downs. Raiders score with 30 seconds left. I'm like, they need 40 yards. He could possibly run. Likely drops the pass with 1 second left on the clock. I have my head buried in Jonathan's couch. I'm like, I'm going to miss out on this bet by 5 yards from the MVP rusher. All I hear is Jonathan jump out of the couch and scream. I look up and last play of the game, Lamar is running down the field. I give Jonathan's door a fantastic hug and then bury my face back into the couch, staring at my phone, heart pounding that they give him the yards because before the play ended, he did flicked it back to one of his players to try and, score a touchdown. So I had a 24-leg parlay, $10 that turned into 2,400 and made me happy for the rest of the Sunday.
Congrats. Can I just say you read that like it was a novel?
It's okay. I had to give out every single parlay. It was 24 legs.
I love that. I love that.
It sounded like it was in a book. It had the highs and lows and like it, it worked. Maybe a little more enthusiasm because you won $2,500 fucking dollars. But
I literally just told you I fucking gave your door a hug.
Yeah, and during the whole time he's like, bro, it's not gonna hit, it's not gonna hit. Like negative Nancy over here, per usual. I'm like, Nick, shut up, it's gonna hit. And he's negative Nancy hugging the door. I'm like, Nick, it's gonna hit. And it hits. All right.
Okay, but who thought the last play of the Ravens game, they need a touchdown, Lamar's gonna run the ball?
No one thought, but you have to have positivity in your mind. Stop being negative Nancy. You won $2,500 because I was positive for you and you put in a great bet. All right?
Well, that's why we're friends.
I'm taking low credit because you need to be more positive, okay? Take that as a lesson, folks.
I do not recommend you guys ever putting a 24-leg parlay in, but when they hit like this, you have to have a great time.
Yeah, I mean, if it hits, your pants get tight, your bank account gets larger. Like, just do it for the fun. It's $10.
So I do want to ask you though, Jonathan, when I told you around halftime that this bet might hit, like what kind of bet were you thinking? Just like a $100, $200 bet or?
No, something crazy you put in.
You really thought it was something crazy?
Yes. Who puts in normal bets? If you're
me, I bet nothing, and I'm actually more positive than Nick is by being at neutral.
That's probably
it's not fun watching football if you don't have money invested.
I have money in fantasy. I have headaches in fantasy. I rip my hair out from fantasy, and I have gray hair because of fantasy. So
see, but like it's so fun, you're sitting there on the couch with your boys. You have a beer in your hand. You're like, "Hey, I bet this guy scored a touchdown. Hey, I bet this guy for 50 yards."
Yeah, and then
it
you
just
get
makes it a little bit more exciting,
Yeah, and then you get hype when he scores.
Yeah,
hype, boys.
Telling you,
Hey,
man,
man,
give it one shot.
fantastic bet. Great that it hit. And I'm happy for you, man. That's an exciting Sunday.
Absolutely. But
Hey, man, can't wait to put another one in 5 days.
let's cue the NFL music. Who's ready for locks of the week? Last week wasn't a great lock of the week. We basically went 1 for 4, I think. I think the only lock that hit was maybe the
We
Jets.
went 2 for 4 because we did the the Commanders spread.
All right, so let's get a better lock. So as usual, we'll do the 2 New York teams, and we'll each pick our own lock. This
New
is
York
something
team?
I'll put in. We'll do the New York teams every week. So let's start off with the New York team because the Jets play on Thursday. The Jets are -6.5, so they're laying 6.5 to the Patriots.
I'm hammering the Patriots.
You're hammering the Patriots?
Yeah.
Jimmy, what do you think?
Patriots.
Patriots +6.5?
I don't like how the Jets have looked the first 2 games of the year.
All right, let's lock in +6.5 here.
I mean, their defense looked terrible against the 49ers. Granted, it's the 49ers, but if the Jets don't score that last play of the game, they lose by 20 plus. And then they go into Tennessee and they win on like one of the last drives of the game.
True.
I just don't think that the Patriots are going to lose by more than a touchdown.
Yeah. All right. Next game.
Or less.
Gi-
Yeah, more than a touchdown.
Giants Browns. Giants are also getting 6.5 in this game. Who we locking in with? Do the Giants lose by more than lose by more than a touchdown?
So here's my
The
thing.
Giants
You
win.
can
No,
go,
Nick,
Jimmy.
shut up. Nick,
You could go.
shut
Talk about
up.
your shitty team, bro. They're going
The
0-17.
Giants win outright. They beat the Browns. They
Okay.
beat the brakes off the Browns. Daniel Jones redemption game. Watson just terrible. He's gonna retire. And the producer's color is the Browns, and I'm not liking the way he's looking at me right now. So guess what? Lock the Giants in.
All right, bet. All right, let's do our locks of the week, baby. Let's go. I'm going to start us off. I will start us off. So, the Packers. No, actually, someone else started. I need to look into this.
We got some good games this week. Eagles, Saints, Ravens, Cowboys, Vikings, Texans.
All right, you know what? Fuck it. I don't like to bet on my team, but the Dolphins are getting 4.5 against the Seahawks. I'm locking in Dolphins +4.5. There's no way that they don't cover that. I think they win outright.
In Seattle?
In Seattle without Tua +4.5. Lock it in.
You know, I want to pick this guy, but he's just so bad. I'm gonna go, like Jimmy says, you gotta have faith. I'm going AR and the Colts -1 against Caleb Williams and the Bears.
Okay. All right. Jimmy, what is your lock?
Lock of the week.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Billingtons on Monday Night Football against the Jaguars. 5.5-point favorites. That's a lock.
That's a lock. All right. Lock that in. All right. So our locks of the week. This is according to FanDuel spread. Patriots +6.5. Giants +6.5. Dolphins +4.5. Colts -1.5. Bills -4.5. $5 bet wins you $119.50. If you want to make some money, lock in. If you don't trust us because we're not professionals. All right. Listen, we appreciate you guys. We will be back in a few weeks. Don't miss us too much. I will be in a different time zone in multiple different countries. I love you guys. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful Wednesday evening. And yeah, that's Ballpark Beef signing out. So peace the fuck out, guys. And by the way, my coworker just wanted a quick shout out. Dave, shout out. He said, fuck Mets. Peace.